but in your world, I think you're more recognisable.
A lot of people look at me and say, geez, I know you're from somewhere, and they start saying, were you ever here, or do you ever give that, or, whatever, and people recognise me a lot more now. I mean, in strange places too.
It was the dark of the moon on the 6th of June in a Kenworth pulling logs. Cab over Pete with a reefer on and a Jimmy hauling hogs. We was headed for Bear on I-10 about a mile out of Shaky Town. I says, Pigpen.
Today's podcast was brought to you by Koala Karma, the chill-out drink. Sit back, relax, and stand under the stars in Currumbin. That's right, I'm out in the backyard. Today's podcast was a pretty crazy one, and I'm going to say it. It was brought to you also by Titan Garages and Sheds. And the reason I'm saying that is because on this day we were driving around recording a new ad for Titan Sheds with a champion that I've spent 18 years driving around and making ads with, a guy called Greg Nicholson, who's actually my dad's best mate when they were welders in Salisbury a long time ago. Way before I was born. So when we decided to make an ad, back then I was actually living in Sydney in an acting school, and someone came up with a concept for a dad and son thing, and I said, yeah, I'll do one ad, and we've done about 70 ads. And Greg, we chose Greg because he's such a champion. He's a friend of the family, and he's always just this cool character. And all these years later, we're still the greatest mates, and I love just hearing the man talk. So I looked at him because David Bowie just passed away and Lemmy just passed away, and they were about 70. And I look at these blokes that are 70, and I think, man, I was just dying to get him on tape. So again, I sprung it on him. I just said, hey mate, here we are. We're going to do this thing. Go with me, okay? So, are you there, Greg Nicholson? We talk about truck driving. We talk about just stories. We talk about nothing, no rules again. But I'm glad I got him. All right, over to you, Grego. Ow!
So he goes over to the exhaust shop and gets this bloody big 4-inch fucking exhaust system, sure as somebody. And of course now, that's interfered with the sensors in the exhaust, right?
Right.
So, the light comes on the dashboard all the time saying, fault, and all this sort of because if you interfere with something on it,
yep.
The sensors aren't geared up for that modification.
Yeah.
So,
You know what we're doing right now, Grego?
what are we doing?
Welcome to the Gold Coast First True Crack podcast show, Grego. No, we'll record this.
Right.
In 250 metres, continue along this road.
That's right. Yeah, we're on our way to another Titan Sheds commercial with Greg Nicholson, the dad, the son. I mean, I'm the son and Greg is the dad.
Yeah, mate.
I don't know if I've explained these to you, mate. This is recording here, but
Continue
tried
along
to get...
this road, then keep right to merge onto Pacific Motorway.
That'll make it pretty funny. I've tried to record 100 people last year, just like this. And
in 2.4 kilometres, keep right on Pacific Motorway towards City.
I might turn that off, but did you see me on the 7:30 report? 2 weeks?
No.
But you heard of it?
Yeah, Reeve was telling me about when we were down at the club that night, and of course I just forgot all about it, didn't I?
It was the funny thing about it was just how I got on it. It was just through, I listened to these shows where they're basically just talking to something, just talking.
Yeah.
All right, and, when you drive your truck, you can go a bit nuts listening to the radio or the bad news, and you're like, I'm so sick of this stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah, well, I got onto these shows called podcasts where they just they're people talking.
Yeah.
And your mind gets sort of lost in their conversation if you're the third wheel in their,
Keep right on Pacific Motorway towards City.
I thought, I want to do that. And now you'll be technically you'll be episode 85.
Right.
But I've interviewed, about 100 people.
Right.
Just like this. Yeah, but that's what got me on the TV show.
Just
if someone said,
you should talk to Drew. Onto M7 toward Brisbane Airport.
So I had the old man on episode 50.
Oh, dear.
And how are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Another lovely day, mate.
Yeah, another lovely day. Where were you working yesterday?
Yesterday I was over at Richland. We're doing they're putting a bridge across, linking up the two halves of Boundary Road.
Right.
And we're doing all the earthworks around the bridge works and that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a good day too.
When I always say, when someone says to me about getting recognised on a Titan ad, well, now I shaved my beard off. It's been a year with the beard. I took that off. Now, because no one recognises me. I've always said that, right? Because they just sort of don't, you know. Yeah. But since I shaved the beard off only 3 or 4 weeks ago, it started to happen more than ever.
They're starting to twig you again, mate.
Yeah. And but in your world, I think you're more recognisable.
Yeah, well, I get pinged many places now. You know, it seems to be. A lot of people look at me and say, "Geez, I know you from somewhere," and they start saying, "Were you ever here, or do you ever give that, or you know, whatever?" And people recognise me a lot more now. I mean, in strange places too. Yeah. We're up in Cairns, right north of Cairns actually, and walk around looking at one of those old places that was built many years ago. There's a whole group of people walking around, and I got pinged up there. You're the man from Titan.
No, weird.
Yeah. So,
you know, I was talking to someone from Sydney the other day, and I loosely know where they put these Titan ads, but I was surprised when my mate was talking to someone over the internet, you know, Facebook, I think, and he said, you know, Drew from the Titan ads, and this person went, oh yeah, and he was on the south side of Sydney.
Yeah, really.
So I don't understand how that.
Didn't your dad run them down there for a while?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's for sure.
He went nationwide there for a while, didn't he?
Yeah, but that was. Geez, that must be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
2003. Yeah. Must have been. It must have been 2005, something like that.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, but I always say this story. I say, I got it easy. You know, no one recognises me too much. So I always find if someone does recognise me, I kind of forget why. And I could be at a surf club and I'll walk in and maybe in a bad mood or something, you know what I mean? I'm a bloke. Always grumpy about something. Yeah. But like, what's he staring at?
Yeah,
who's that? What are you looking at? You know, it's sort of in my mind, and then I go, oh, hang on, calm down. Yeah. It's gonna be something like that, you know. But I always say this story. Like, remember when you were working on the Gateway Bridge, and I probably embellish this story, but to me, this is what happened. I can imagine you showing up at a big job site where you've got the bloke on a walkie-talkie. I think you actually told me this story, but I think it all the time. Okay, Grego's first day at a huge bridge building contract where hundreds of dudes are working, right? And it's just the monotony of everyone's job and this and that, and like, no, you don't recognise a face unless you look at that Brisbane City on the horizon.
Yep.
Look at that. Yeah. But next minute, the guy driving the tipper truck is, you're the Titan bloke. Right? And then the very next time you come back, there's like 200 blokes that have all spread the word through the walkie-talkie system. Actually, no, someone else told me. Someone else told me that story because they said that you'd, by the end of the day, you'd signed all these things for kids and given away all this sort of gear.
And all that sort of stuff.
That's awesome. Signed any boobs?
No, unfortunately, I haven't had that offer yet. I'd be quite happy to do it.
We're selling the wrong thing, mate.
Well, just Christmas time we went for a train ride up to Longreach and back, right? Because I like trains. Anyway, we're sitting in at the Roma Street railway terminal down there, having a cup of coffee, and this guy kept looking at me, and I was talking at the time, so I didn't take a great deal of attention to him. And anyway, he walked past me about 3 or 4 times, looking at me and all the rest of it. And eventually he came over and twigged who I was, right? He said, "Oh, you're the guy from Titan." I said, "Yeah, mate, yeah, guilty." Anyway, he says, "I've been trying to beat you." He said, he's an ex-detective, right? And he said, "I didn't know whether one of my clients or whether..."
Oh, yeah, right. I know him.
Yeah, I know him.
I can't work out whether he's bad or good.
Him or what, you know?
Yes. How funny, isn't it? Funny when you recognise someone. I always think, is it work? Is it work?
Yeah, exactly.
Is it like, and you get this feeling inside of what is it?
Yeah.
Where are they from?
Yep.
Yeah, it's a work thing. It's a work thing. No, it's not. No, it's at some sort of pub or some sort of
So we had fun though, mate. All good fun.
Well, they'd all be. Well, see, your character in this has always been all right. For some reason, mine's always been like the dickhead.
But you play so well, then.
Oh, I know. It comes out. But so I've always been like, "Oh, beauty." No one really recognises me because they haven't.
You don't really want to remember that role.
Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Merge onto M7 toward Brisbane Airport.
So what we're doing now, we're going to the north side of Brisbane. We're doing something funny we've never really done, and we're going to 4 different shed customers today to sort of interview them. We'll be off camera for these 4. We're just going to interview them and get little sound grabs and video of them standing in front of their shed, which is pretty cool and genuine. And then we go back to the dad's shed for the top and the tail of the ad. So it's going to be a massive day.
Yeah.
Massive one.
Looking forward to it. Have a lot of laughs.
Yeah.
That's part of the deal, isn't it? But,
yeah. So do you, when you when you take a day off for these, like I'm managing a sign shop there with my cousin at the moment.
Right.
So it's good and bad because you love working. So you're like, okay, no, we've got to tighten. But it's not as soon as we start the day, it's like, yeah, I've got a day off.
Take exit 4 on the right to merge onto M7 toward Brisbane Airport.
Exit 4. I think it wants me to go through the tunnel.
That's if you want to go through the tunnel.
Okay, we'll skip. Yeah, I can. I'll make it pretty easy. Have you ever done that Boggle Road? So we're going near Boggle Road Jail right now. Have you ever gone on that tour?
No,
it's still there. Me either. But apparently there's a whole bunch of rooms where they've kept. And one's a crazy Nazi one.
Yeah.
And then there was I think they kept a room that was like a serious sort of bad room that they'd throw all the bad guys in. And all sorts of self-harm habits. Right? No. Even the name, Boggle Road.
Well, apparently an operator of one of mine years ago was a Kiwi, and he came over once before and got some speeding fines or whatever, and of course he took off back to New Zealand before he paid them, and when he came back
in 7.6 kilometres, right? Take exit onto 5 toward 83.
Straight in Boggle Road Jail because, outstanding warrants.
Right.
And anyway, I was ringing his missus up to find out why he wasn't at work, and she said that he'd been sent to Big Jail or something, so I thought, I better go and see if I can get him out. I picked him up. I paid the fine and picked him up. And he said, I never want to go in there again.
Wow.
He said,
wow.
That was the worst experience of my whole life.
Wow.
Apparently it wasn't a very pleasant place at all.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I went, there's this, my only sort of, there's kind of 2, but my real jail experience is once when we were, I think I was only 18 or 19, I was definitely 18. I was in this little band. No, I was turning 19. Okay, yeah, 18, right, well.
Yeah.
And the band I was in at the time, a class dismissed. We had a gig to do in Goulburn, right? Our manager was from Goulburn, so we just went, yeah, whatever, and we went down to Goulburn. But on the way, we had a truck, a little 3-ton Pantech truck that the manager just bought. We had these 2 guys in it, Westy and MacGyver. right, in the truck, driving down with our gear ahead of us, and we were in this little econo van sort of thing.